Alright, so in today's video, I want to share with you some strange happenings that are going on other people's farms, but not on mine. And I want to show you how you can also avoid such from happening to you. The first one is disease outbreaks. There are some farms, every time there's a disease, they are also affected. And one thing is, most of these farms are not going by the biosecurity measures, and they are not also protective of their farms enough. So for you to be safer, like I have been, is to ensure that you keep strangers out of your farm, and then you always make sure you clean the pen. You know, that is one of the contributing factors to these outbreaks. So you can also keep yours safe by cleaning the place very well, ensuring proper hygiene, and keeping strangers out of the farm. That's the best thing you can do. And the next thing that is happening on other people's farm is post-weaning mortality. You know, there are some farms where once they finish weaning their piglets, they die. Most of them die before they even enter the growing phase. But such has never happened on my farm, and the reason is that I don't rush to wean my piglets. If you are to follow the advice you get online that wean your piglets when they are 3 weeks old, you go ahead to do that. It means you are risking the life of your piglets. It's either you lose them or they don't grow. So allow your piglets to stay with their mother, have access to the breast milk for some time, especially for instance in my family, the piglets are allowed to stay with their mom for 6 good weeks. You get it? That is a month and a half. So they stay with them, but then they are able to eat well, and they are able to survive as well. They look active. In that case, if you separate them from their mother, no matter where you take them, they will survive. And one strange thing to me, I would say it's strange because I have never experienced it in my farm, and that is cannibalism in the farm. One farmer once told me that he saw his pig farrow, like his sow farrow, 8 piglets. The next morning he woke up to meet only 3. So I asked them where are the other 5. He was like, he searched around the pen and was not getting them. I said, wow, that means your pig has started eating the piglets. So you have to be careful in order to have the 3, even the 3 you have left, you have to protect them. So cannibalism is something that is happening on other people's farm, and it's due to the fact that most of us neglect the sow at farrowing. You know, how do you expect a hungry sow to stay free, comfortable when you have confined her with her piglet? But I mean, she needs to survive. And in that case, what happened is, the next meal for her is the piglets available, and she starts consuming them. So always feed your piglets right. I always say on the day of farrowing, like if you know the exact day your sow will be farrowing, I don't feed the sow on that particular day. I don't overfeed her. If I used to give her 1.5 kg of feed, I reduce it to just 0.5 kg. You don't have to overfeed the pig, and then but don't also starve it. Feed it well such that it will give birth or to farrow, and then you go there and meet your piglet. And once farrowing is done, the next thing is to rush and get her water. If you don't have water on the farm, get her water and then prepare that in the delicious and then like a balanced feed, give it to her. In that case, she comes back to her senses and then be very, very conversant working with her piglet. So you're supposed to do that. And if you overfeed her too, there are also implications. The sow found it difficult to exert the pressure to bring out this the piglets. So you don't also have to overfeed her. So you reduce, if you know the exact day of farrowing, reduce the feed down. If it's 1.5, like I said, give it only 0.5. And after feeding, you keep increasing the feed until the sow is okay. The next one that also happened, and then it's also a husbandry practice actually. It's teeth clipping, tail docking, and all other practices on the farm, castrations. They are all practices in animal husbandry. But I have never been doing this, and I don't also see the need to do that on my farm. Because, you know, for teeth clipping, it is usually done when the pigs are aggressive, like the piglets are aggressive towards each other. And then, or even during suckling, where they are able to injure the sow. But to me, so far, for 3 years now, I haven't seen any of my sow with any, like, injury to the breast. They are always active, and then the sow, like the piglets themselves too, are not fighting. They're always living in harmony. They play around and nothing is happening to them. Castration is something I've never done, and I don't think I'll be doing it now. And the tail docking, you know, tail docking is also a practice. It's very important. There are some sows, you know, during mating, the tail is something they use to block the ball from entering them. Okay, so some people actually cut the tail to make it easy for the ball to mate the sow. But for me, whenever I release the sow to the ball, it is perfectly done, and I don't need to stress over this. The next thing, very strange on farms, is a miscarriage. I don't actually know what causes this. I know in humans it does occur, and it's also a medical condition. But in pigs, I know it can be possible, but it's something I've never experienced. Once my pig is crossed, I'm always expecting my piglets. I don't expect to have any miscarriage or failed pregnancy. Yes, it's something I've never experienced, and I'm not sure I'll be experiencing it. And you don't also have to pray against me, okay? I'm going to have all my piglets, once they are serviced, I'm going to have my sows deliver safely for me. So miscarriage is something I've never also encountered on the farm. My sow always gives me the piglet I want. The next one is a deformed piglet. You know, there are some farms where once the sow farrows, the piglets come out very weak, deformed. Some of them cannot even stand on their feet. It is something I have never experienced. It's either they come out and then like they are weak, they die on the spot. Okay, not to come out and then be struggling to live. Like deformed piglets and then weaker legs. No, it doesn't happen that way. But piglets always come out, if they are to survive, they come out very healthy. None of them is deformed, okay? And deformity also arrives sometimes from inbreeding. If you allow siblings of the same parents to start mating each other, that is usually the consequence of this deformed piglet attitude we have on the farm. So it's something that you can actually prevent it. And we can prevent this by feeding the sow right at pregnancy. And once your sow is pregnant, you don't have to give any medicine to it, especially ivermectin. You don't have to deworm your sow when it is pregnant. If you missed deworming her before crossing, allow her to deliver or farrow before you cross. You don't have to rush and then give her the ivermectin whilst carrying the pregnancy. In that case, it is going to affect the piglet. So it's something you should also take note of if you have to have all your piglets out safe and then sound. And there are other things that happen that I want to also share with you, which is farrowing complications, where you will need to call veterinarian to come and intervene for you, or the use of medicines to help your sow bring forth the piglet. It is something also I haven't experienced it, and I'm not sure I'll be experiencing it. You know of this medicine, you say oxytocin. Like I've made a video on it, when and then how it is used. Usually it is used to help your sow to give birth or to farrow easily. So in every 15 minutes, the piglet is supposed to come out. So once it's taking more than that, it means you need to intervene in some way to help the sow bring out all the piglets. Once my sow starts farrowing, I'll go in to prepare something, her feed. Before I return, everything is set on the farm, okay? That is if the sow was not hostile during the process or was not struggling. In that case, I don't always waste time even to be with the sow. But if she's a first-time mother, I always stay with her to ensure that all the piglets are out before I leave her, okay? So, if you treat your sow well at pregnancy, you don't expect to suffer any complications. She'll be able to come out. If your sow is healthy from the beginning, she will bring out all the piglets, also healthy, without any struggles, okay? So I always say pregnant sows, you need to give them priority. Treat them well with everything you have. Pay more attention to them and invest in them at that moment. At most, it's just some couple of weeks and then that particular phase will be over. So you need to take time and then stay with the sow and ensure that she's doing the right thing to assist her bring all that you need. And another point to make it is the use of milk powder and then other ways of feeding piglets. You know, there are some farms, the sow delivers or farrows correctly, but doesn't produce enough milk for the piglets, where you'll be advised to either inject some hormones to help the pig induce her system so that she'll produce her own milk, or you go in to buy these artificial or lab-made medicines to help the piglet survive. It is something I've never encountered, and it is all due to good husbandry practices and then right feeding. So if you treat your sow well, no matter what, she'll be able to come out and then produce the piglets you need, give it to you, and then be able to breastfeed them well for you also. You know, piglets within that particular 1 to 4 weeks, they are always dependent on the breast milk. So if your sow is not producing the breast milk, it means there's a problem on your farm, and you, the farmer, should start thinking about remedies. But if you don't want that to happen to you, always treat the sow well. Be gentle with your sow and treat her well at that particular moment, okay, to have a safe farm. So these and many more things that have never happened on my farm, and I don't think they're going to happen any moment from now, because I'm always going by it. It has worked for me over the years, and I'm not going to deviate from it. I'm going according to what is working for me on the farm, and I will keep sharing with you so that you also keep updated. If there's something you really want to know, but I didn't mention, or you have also learned on your farm and you would like to share, drop that in the comments. I will attend to it, and then if possible make a video to suit you purposely.